Okay. Awesome.
Okay, so I ask people this all the time when I meet strangers. I say, hey, I put a link on the internet and said, let's chat, and people say yes, and I'm always curious to ask why you would say yes to talking to a complete stranger.
So I just joined the war room recently, and so I want to get to know people. Of course, that's the point of paying into the membership, right? And I just saw everybody was posting like had my call with Alex Scott Felis because it tags you on
Hmm.
whatever your name is on Facebook, and so I wanted to check out what the hype is because I've seen a lot of a lot
You
of
don't want to be left
posts.
out.
Right. I was like, maybe I'll check this out too. So, I'm excited to talk to you. And also I did hear a Bigger Pockets episode of you a long time ago though. Like a couple years ago, I want to say.
OG BiggerPockets, yeah.
Okay, yes, OG Bigger Pockets. Yeah, I didn't
It's
know if
funny.
it was that one or the other one, but
Yeah, BiggerPockets episode 301. It was interesting because at the time I was like, I missed it.
what do you
Like,
mean you missed it?
like by that time it felt old. I was like, oh, 300. It's old news now. And now
Uh,
they're
hmm
on episode. I don't know what episode they're on now,
I don't know,
but
700, 800,
yeah,
something
now
big.
it feels like now I feel special.
Yes, you're practically an OG for them, I guess,
Yeah.
in the top tier.
Okay, so uh tell me about you. Who are you? Where do you live? How long you been in the war room? How can I help?
So I just joined the War Room, December, January. Just joined the War Room from Dan Huffman. I'm not sure if you know him, but he is so nice, very social guy. He invited me to come. He is one of my bookkeeping clients, and so he was like, "You would enjoy it. Just join it because I'm not in a mastermind or anything." Um,
You're a bookkeeper?
yeah, I'm a real estate bookkeeper. That's how I met Dan, who is in the War Room,
Okay,
who
well, let me
recommended
give you 1,000 customers.
it. That would be nice. It's funny how I got into bookkeeping because I was in the military. Yeah, here's me. I'll go into me.
Please.
I went to University of Alabama, graduated, became a finance officer, went in the Air Force, and was first stationed in Guam, and that was fun. And when you're stationed overseas, you get OHA, overseas housing allowance. Okay, so we got a really good amount of OHA, and so you had to spend it. So my husband was like, "Let's just buy a property, and we'll, use a VA loan, get into it, have a property, move, rent it out, and when we go to our next duty station." So that's how we kind of started getting into real estate. Was we did that first, and then bought another condo while we were there. So we have our two places in Guam, and then we moved to San Antonio and got that one. But in the midst of that time, we bought some in Montgomery because I really tailored to like I guess the military is our niche. Um, and in Montgomery is a huge training base for the Air Force. Like if you're an officer in the Air Force, you're going through Montgomery, Alabama, like 2 times minimum, probably
That's
three.
kind of how
Throw.
that's kind of how Bragg is for the Army. Like kind of everybody touches Bragg at some point.
Is that in South Carolina? Where is
North
that? South
Carolina.
Carolina? North Carolina? Okay, because I am in South Carolina and we're moving to North Carolina. We just bought 6 acres in Shillote, North Carolina, because my husband's from Wilmington, North Carolina, and he was talking about Fort Bragg, and I was like, that might be a good place to
I
invest
got
in
60
next.
doors there and a partner, and we property manage 500 units. Like I got roots.
Yeah.
I got real
Wow.
infrastructure in North Carolina.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, hey, so do you at Fort Bragg, do they do like a lot of trainings? Is it a huge training base or what kind of what's the focus on there?
Yeah, it's home of the airborne,
Okay.
and then it's home of special forces
Okay. Hmm. Okay, because what I'm doing
and the
in
82nd
Montgomery.
Airborne.
Okay. So that's a lot of people. Is that what you're
It's the biggest
saying?
US. It's the biggest military installation on planet Earth.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I don't know anything about the army really, but that's interesting. Um that would be a good place then. So I'm sure like they can. Do you have? Okay, well since your tenants are mostly military, I'm gonna take the guess
No,
and say
I actually
no.
don't. I try not to rent the military.
Why not? Because of the
Uh,
turnover?
yeah, they're worse than bad credit people. They 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 deploy, they divorce, they move. No,
Yeah.
they PCS. No, I don't. I
Uh-huh.
actually avoid renting the military, like not like illegally, but like
Uh-huh.
yeah, it is not a benefit. It's like if I have two equal tenants, I will take the one that's like I'm from Fayetteville. I'm like great. I think probably less than
Yeah,
ten
because they'll
percent of
stay
our
longer.
portfolio is military.
Interesting. I just had my first military long-term rental tenant because my military niche that I do is more in the mid-term rental, I guess class is what you would say. Because they're only staying for 36 nights while they're at a training base. So they're on TDY and they just cycle through every 36 nights. And I like it though because they it's only 36 nights and they're at work like at the training all day and I have my cleaners there. It's just it's maintained. The property's maintained. But with
Sure.
our long-term rental that had somebody there for 3 years, we just went through turnover with him and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing this again. I don't like this. It was a lot. It was a lot to a typhoon had hit Guam and messed up a lot of stuff and he was silent. He was a great tenant, but it was because he I guess wasn't maintaining many things. So it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that, I mean, $5,000 in turnover, not that bad. But in my opinion, I was like, oh my gosh, why did he not tell us about this? But
Yeah, I just had two midterm rentals or short-term rentals that converted to midterm rentals, and then I just abandoned them. So it didn't work well for me, but that's just
in
me.
Fort Bragg area.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's what I was gonna ask is if they were like if it was a training base in the sense that like they have a lot of people going TDY there and staying for over 30 nights but less than like 90 or something.
I don't know. We got a lot of nurses, and
Mm-hmm.
it just doesn't. I don't want to be in the business of
That much.
that sort of like. Yeah, I'm more like what I want to focus on is buying good assets and just
Mm-hmm.
somebody else deals. And
Mm-hmm.
with one or two midterm rentals, I just don't have the scale. So I'm like, the other. Basically, what it came down to is it was taking me a lot of work, and I was making less than if I just had a long term rental.
Oh, really?
So I was like, yeah, we were making like $1,800 a month as a midterm rental, but I could make like $1,500 a month as a long term rental.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm
Mm.
like, I turn off the all the utilities, no cleaning, no headache, and I was like, dude, I actually went from a property that was making I like nothing, like $200-300. It was netting. It was. I think in 2022, I had this property that I made like $4,000 for the whole year as a midterm rental, and it was a total headache. And then
Oh my
now
gosh.
I make like $1,000 a month,
That's wild. Well, I'm glad
and I
that
do
you
no
did the
work
flip.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Well, I'm glad that you figured that out. Yeah, for mine it's a little bit different. It's like it kind of fluctuates depending on how many dogs the people bring because sometimes I get to charge them like 4,000 a month for the 36 nights. So it's 4,000 and my mortgage is $432. So
Dude, I would have kept
the
it for
difference
that.
is good. Yeah.
Yeah,
The difference is good.
we had some months in August where it's like, yeah, I make like $3,200 and my mortgage is $500 and I'm like, yo, this works.
Hmm.
Um, and then even though I'd have like $1,200 in cleaning fees, like it started to become like it was like I had the turnover, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, even then I would have kept it. The problem is it was like that for like June, July, and August, and then the rest of the year it was like, oh, I made, 1,800 or $2,000, and
Dang.
1,200 went to cleaning, and then five, and then utilities, and then mortgage, and I was like, dude, I'm breaking even, and
Man.
like having a lot of headache to do it. So I was like, I just bailed. Now that's just
Well,
my experience. It also,
yeah.
I never wanted my rentals to be a business. If I want to be in
Mhm.
business with rentals, it's because I want to do acquisition, not management.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interesting. I must just be, I guess, a different market. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. It
But
could just be me. So I'm not. I don't.
I don't know. I love the one that we have in Montgomery. We just closed on a duplex there and like literally no,
Congrats.
Thursday we did. Thank you. Because we're doing it again because there's so much demand from them and I've just been telling people like whoever gives me the lease first can do it because I've tried it focus more on direct bookings instead of Airbnb, where they save a lot on fees if they don't go that way. So yeah, it's been good, and I'm hoping that the other ones will do well too. But okay, so then we went from that. But then we have like a lot by the lake that we're trying to do RV campground on, and I don't know. My husband, we haven't completely decided because I say RV campground just because I want to be able to like move. That's in Alabama, and I want to be able to like come back to North Carolina for the summer so that we can work on our acres that we just bought over here by the beach. But he wants to do cabins there. And so, RV campgrounds is just a lot less to put in, a lot less to build because it's raw land and it has water and septic and power there. But like, I was just like, we just stick up some RV hookups and, make it landscape, make it look good, outdoorsy, campy, and then go about our business and move here for the summer. But my husband wants to do cabins, so we're kind of stuck between like, what are we gonna do? Should we take the long route and just do cabins and, make it right the first time, or what?
I have some friends that do that at scale. So
Okay,
if you need an intro,
thank you. Yeah, I'd like. Well, do they build?
they have a company that builds tiny homes and cabins and ships them on site, and then they just kind of like put them together at like on site,
Huh.
build like porches and whatnot. But
Okay.
yeah, they were doing that. Like they have a bunch of RV parks, and they were like, "Oh, we'll just put 5 cabins here, and we'll put 6
Yeah.
cabins here," and it was like,
Mhm.
dude, they are just cleaning up.
Yeah, I bet people want to. There's a cabin that's near me, and this is what gave me kind of the idea is that there's a cabin that's a little bit. It's in the city over, um, and you'd look at it and be like, oh, there's no who's going there? Like what are people doing there? But Pete's always booked, so I'll give him another place
The
to
world's
go.
a wacky place. Everything that I'm like,
It's a
this is what I
wacky
want to do,
place.
and I'm like, I don't want. There's people doing stuff that I would never want to do.
It's people buying stuff that I would never want to buy is what gets me. Because sometimes I'm like, nobody would buy that. Oh, okay, one of my friends is buying that. Why? But
Yeah,
mm,
yeah, yeah. The world's got a diverse set of wants.
yeah. So I guess what do you do on the daily? Like, what does your life look like?
Right now, in 2023, about a year ago, just under a year ago, I moved to Maui to produce a video
Oh,
podcast
okay.
for Brandon Turner. Do you know who Brandon Turner is?
Yeah, BiggerPockets,
Yeah. So he was
right?
like, "Hey, I want to do a new video
Well, old.
podcast," and
Hmm.
yeah, and I'm a kind of a long-term camera guy. I don't know if you can.
Okay, cool. Very fun.
Yeah. So I'm a long-time camera guy, and he's like, "Hey, I need a new video podcast, and I need you to fly out here and help me make some a high quality video podcast." And so I moved to Maui,
Hmm.
and I did that,
Is that where
and
you are at right now too?
yeah,
Still there? Nice. Very fun.
yeah. I think it's coming to an end now. I think we're gonna move to Austin and
Mm.
get back into. I purchased a few apartment buildings back in 2019 and 2020,
Hmm.
and then 21, 22 was like the worst time in the world to buy apartment buildings. 23 has been pretty close, but now it's starting to soften up. The foreclosures are running in, seller pricing come down. So it's time to get to work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, did you invest the past 2 years while you were there in Maui at all?
No, because uh, I didn't really want to buy single families anymore.
Hmm.
And I wanted to buy commercial properties. But again, like just cap rates were so decompressed, rent prices had come up, and interest rates had come up. So it's like you buy a property at a 5 cap. Like if you buy a property that makes 5% per year and it's a C class mid range property, it's like why when you can go to the treasury and get 5% for doing nothing risk free. So it just hasn't made sense.
Yeah.
And then what people have done is they put variable rate loans to make it work,
Hmm.
and now they are foreclosing. Like I don't know if you watch
Yeah.
the news for multifamily, but like they are foreclosing like left and right, and they're doing
I'm gonna
capital
be,
calls
yeah.
and they're pausing
Hmm.
distributions. And I said back 2 years ago, I was like, I don't want. There's no way to make this work at a 7% rate at this price. There's no rent growth coming. Like it's maxed out. There's no way. There's no money here. And so I buy for cash flow. I buy a discount. If you're buying with no cash flow and no discount, like the only people who can make money, the only people who that benefits are people that are sitting on so much cash and so much tax liability that they're like, we just got to store it somewhere. Even if we lose a little bit of money, we'll get the tax benefits. It doesn't have to have a high return. I'm not that guy. I have to make money. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to wait. And I felt very like it was a bit of a ego hit because nobody wants to wait around while everybody else scoops up properties. But now I'm very glad that I did because I'm watching people, lose investor money, and my properties I'm increasing my distributions to my investors. So
I'm scared of. Are you syndicating? Is that what you're
yeah,
trying to say?
yeah.
Uh-huh. I'll be honest, from a bookkeeping perspective, and I'm not trying to be rude, but from a bookkeeper's perspective, I have been very nervous about syndicators because they're when I get into their book sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not what you like should do with other people's money,
Yeah.
and then I've had some of them are like they're nervous because they don't know what they've been doing this whole time, and it's just very disorganized. So I don't know. Syndicators make me nervous, to be honest.
Um, well,
And I know it's not everybody, of course. I would
sure,
love in the
sure. It's
future to
not
be
everybody.
it.
It's
Mhm.
surprising how many people have gotten in trouble though. People that are sophisticated, experienced investors. But what's interesting, and I don't do this very often, unless it's for theatrics. I'll tell you why I am gonna, why I'm successful at this for two reasons. One, I'm very prudent with other people's money. I came from an underwriting background, so I know how to be, I know how to not let the spreadsheets lie to myself, which
Mhm.
is what happens. They just get blinded by projected returns, and like we're gonna make 20%. I'm like, if everything goes right, but you could also lose money. You're not looking at downside. You're only looking at upside. So people lie to
Yeah.
themselves and they believe the lie. So I don't do that. Two, um, apparently, and this is surprising to me, I spend most of my time reading macroeconomics and historicals of macroeconomics. So the thing that everybody was supposed to learn from the 2008 crisis in real estate was you buy for cash flow day one. That was the lesson. That was the mistake that everybody made. They bought for appreciation, and then when the appreciation didn't go up, they all lost millions. And
So have
so
you been?
and so
I'm sorry.
now in 2020 and 21 and 22, people are buying on variable rate loans, and they're just like, the rates will come down, so we'll just refinance then it'll be okay. And I'm like, they're playing the same game. Real estate only goes up. Um, and it hasn't. Real estate, the prices haven't gone up, the rents haven't gone up, and the rates haven't come down. And so they're just like, in fact, the rates have come up. So they're paying the price. But what's interesting to me is all these sophisticated investors haven't read any history at all, at all. Not the 29 crash, not the 81 crash, not the '08 crash. And so um, I was pretty prudent, and I have a little bit of experience. So like right now I'm sitting on so much cash while my competitors are doing capital calls. I'm sitting on so much cash that my investors are like, my partners are like, you have to do something with that cash because it's just losing to inflation. It's just, hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting there in the bank on these properties. So you should be scared of syndicators, but that makes me actually happy because I'm like, oh, there's gonna be a lot of these people that are fucking this up, and I'm gonna take all the business because I'm good at it.
Yeah, okay. Well then, yeah, that's very true. Man, I don't know. It has scared me when I see that, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if I'm supposed to sign. Nobody's asked me to sign an NDA, so I was like, I haven't said anything. Of course, that's private, but I just see it, and it just shocks me every time. And I mean, and I guess that's why, not that, of course. It's just I love to be more hands-on with my portfolio. That's why I like the activity of the midterm rental. I call it MilB&B is what my little business thing is, my website.
Airbnb, I love that.
Yeah, MilB, Airbnb for the military. Like you can't get it wrong. We'll give you your itemized receipt and everything. So, yeah, but I think I'm so hands-on, and that's why I would have an issue if I did ever, want to sell my properties and get more passive and but still be investing. So, transfer that to a syndication. I would be so nervous. But asking for the financials, has anybody ever done that to you? Like ask you to see your syndication, like the financials for your business or anything?
I send my investors every piece of financial data that I get every month.
Okay, that's good. That's good because I'm pretty sure these other people are not. If not, they would have realized
I
that
send
heads
them
up.
I send them a full balance sheet. The only thing I take off the balance sheet is what everybody else's equity stakes are, so they don't know who owns.
Oh,
They don't
that's nice.
all have each other's like LLC information, which
Uh-huh.
not the end of the world. But I send them balance sheet, statement of cash flows, and P&L every month.
Nice. That's good. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're doing it right. You're gonna swoop up everybody. I have a lot of
It's
faith
actually, to
for
me,
you.
it's basic. I'm surprised how many people are being frivolous.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised how many people. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm just surprised that people wouldn't be asking for that information. Well, okay. Well, I'm glad you've enjoyed your time in Maui. So you just kind of recorded for Brandon Turner for a while, is that for the past 2 years? Or did you pick up
For
any
the
other
last year, yeah,
hobbies?
I built him a podcast, and that was a
Hmm.
good little. It was a project that I wanted to do, and he wanted it at the same time. So I was like, okay, this is really interesting. We traveled around and did mobile podcasts, and I built him a studio out here, um, and that's been a fun adventure. And now, um, I've met a lot of people, made a lot of connections, but yeah, I it's not the highest and best use of my skills. I love my camera. I'll do my camera forever. I shoot a lot of events. Like I shoot BiggerPockets Con every year.
Oh,
Um,
cool. Very nice.
uh, I'm hoping to shoot more with David and the War Room. But yeah, so I'll have my camera forever. But like, I'm good at, you know, real estate. I'm just as good at real estate, and it pays more. So it's time to freaking get to work. So we're gonna go to
Yeah.
Austin. We're gonna try to start buying commercial real estate again.
Okay, cool. Yeah, when did you start making the switch into commercial?
2019, I had 8 single family homes. I had helped a bunch of people buy single family homes. They had all made money, and I was like, I can do this at a larger scale. Instead of helping a couple people buy one house at a time, why don't I go buy 24 units and include investors, and we can make a lot of money? And so I did. I had 4 partners then, and then on the 52 unit, I have 31 partners.
Okay, cool. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And so I'd like to do. I'm at a little bit of a weird. The market's definitely harder now than it was in 2020. So now I'm
Hmm.
sort of humbling myself again, which is not. It's harder as you get older actually to like sort of become a student. But now
Yeah.
my current plan is to go to a bunch of. I know all the syndicators. No, that's not true. I know many syndicators, and who are very successful, and I'm going to try to partner with them, find value, hopefully maybe find
Hmm.
some deals, bring some money, um,
Yeah.
bring some media, and build up a little bit of experience and portfolio, and just yeah, just collect equity.
Okay, very nice. Well, I'm excited for you to go to Austin and do that.
Uh,
Um,
well,
hmm,
this call's not about me.
okay.
What do you need help with?
Um, well, I guess trying to make the decision with our land in Shillote. So, we purchased this land in Shillote, 6 acres. Shillote, North Carolina is, I don't know, you're East Coast, right? I mean, we're on Eastern time. Or you, well, you
I'm
said
in
you're
Maui.
in Maui.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's 11 a.m.
Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. I don't know why. It didn't click to me. You're in Maui. I thought you were on my East Coast time when I signed up for the call.
No, it just says it on your time, but it
Yeah,
adjusts time zones.
interesting. Okay, well, I
Technology.
appreciate you being here so
Yeah, it was
early.
10 a.m. on a Sunday. I'm like, I'm gonna be a little late.
Yeah, no, interesting. I'm sorry. Um, okay, so we're on the East Coast. There's Wilmington, North Carolina, right over here, and then you have a little south is Myrtle Beach, and so in between of it is Charlotte, North Carolina. So it's a little coastal town, um, and from the property that we bought, which is 6 acres, if you come out like go to the right 7 miles, you hit a beach, Holden Beach. If you go to the left 8 miles, you hit Ocean Island Beach. But okay, so the thing is that I'm struggling between trying to decide. My husband and I have been plugging away. We have been, I wouldn't say sacrifice, that's a big word, but we've been very diligent for the past 5 years and trying to create our best lifestyle, like the lifestyle that we want. And finally, I'm getting tired, and I want to have somewhere that's for us because we've we're always buying with the mindset that like this is to rent out or this property is to make every asset needs to make money. So we can keep it an asset. And my husband is really good at like not wanting at wanting everything to make money and I want my own space. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe you can think
Oh
about it
my God,
from
I have the same problem. I have the same problem with my fiance. She's like, I want a
yeah.
home. And I'm like, homes
I want
don't
a
make money.
home. I
We
know.
don't
We're
buy
going through
homes. We buy houses. She's like, I want a
we
clawfoot tub. And I'm like,
yes. And
no
I want to
return on
put my
investment.
flowers in the garden and I want to see that garden next year, you know? Like I want to settle. And so that's what
So,
we're in between. And so I'm trying to make the decision or I'm trying to work through.
so
Huh.
I'll give you a little perspective because this is how I'm trying to solve this problem too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy, but it's simple. And so maybe this seed, maybe this perspective can help. This is a money problem only. If you had $10 million, you could just buy a house that didn't need to make money and you'd be fine. The problem is you're trying to make more money. And so you're trying to use every resource that you have to make as much as possible, which is smart. But if you had more, this would be a small problem.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, we have enough. Like in my opinion, we're already at the position where we can like just, you know, keep this for us and you to make money other ways from our portfolio make that's why I separated from the Air Force is because like our portfolio makes enough that we're comfortable, we're fine, we can afford to live
But
and
he wants to keep making money, and you're like, let's just take a little slow down a little bit.
yeah, yeah, well, I
And you
think that
think
he's just
and you
so
think
in
I
the
can help with
mindset.
this?
I don't know. No, I think that you can help in the sense of I don't know. I don't know. It's just something I didn't really know like who to talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah. I don't know. Like, I mean, you're the bookkeeper, so you probably have like, I don't know. This to me, this is a spreadsheet like solution. She's just like, okay, hey, I want this. This is how much this costs. This is how many resources it's going to allocate, and
I
then for
think
like
it
and then like what does he want, and in how long?
he
Because
wants
if
to
you,
use the land and build. I think it's just that he wants to make a business and of developing. He wants to be because his dad's a real estate developer and and he likes construction. He's in construction, any type of work. And so he just wants to and I'm like, whoa, I don't know. I guess it's more of a personal problem for me to to work through, but maybe
well, the
I
question is,
don't
then how
know
can you do
about
both?
how exactly. Okay, and I'm
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
To me, it sounds like I feel like I know what you want. I feel like I only sort of know what he wants. My guess is if you sat down and you guys like wrote this out and you're
Hmm.
like, this is what we actually both want. And then like, what do those two things cost? Both like in time and labor and capital, and just figure out like, here's how like, we both want different things, but we can have both. So what does that look like? Now, if you guys are just fighting over one piece of land, that might be a little bit harder. If you're like, I want to build this property and he wants to business on this property, then maybe that's a little harder. But like, there's plenty of land.
Good parcel, right?
You can parcel
Parcel
it
it
out. So
out.
like, that's
Hmm.
where I just think it just sounds like, again, I'm only coming in from your side. So
Hmm.
like, it just sounds like the both parties need to like, what exactly do
Well,
you want and how can we do both? That way we're not compromising, we're
hmm
abundance.
yeah. Well, I guess maybe that comes in come could be assisted if I could learn more about how to tap into using my properties to, you know, like so I'm complete opposite, I guess, from most people. I want to own my properties outright. I love we already own like half of our portfolio outright, and we're only paying a mortgage on two and now three. And so I know you're like shaking your head. You're like, no, you need to use it, and we will. We have time to use it. I'm young, but I have a peace of mind by owning things outright, and I don't mind. I don't know, and but I need to learn how to how do I mean, right now is probably a bad time to get a, no, it definitely is a bad time to get a refinance or to get a, to HELOC. I don't want to, you know, like some of my properties have really low interest rates and if I refinance, like now I'm at the 8%. Our duplex got 8.875, which
So
is a lot, but at the same time it's not because my dad had a property and he was seller financing it for 8% and at he told me at apparently that was normal.
it's fine.
As long as
It's fine. If
the
you
numbers
look,
work, but they
mortgages,
do.
especially when they're on fixed rate debt, provide a really interesting optionality. If rates go down, you can refinance. And if rates go up, you now have a low one.
Yeah.
So I don't worry too much about rates as long as the thing makes money. I don't really worry about it. Look, I'm not trying to tell you to go out and get debt, but like it sounds like you have a lot of resources, and it sounds like you have a it just sounds to me like you have a resource allocation problem. You're like, we want two different things. We have resources to have both of those. So just like articulating how to get both and like stay within each person's risk tolerance. But I will say this. I mean, you're married. I'm only engaged. Like both parties are going to have to give up a little bit, right? That's what compromise is. Somebody's going to have to let go of what they like. You're not going to get your favorite way. You're going to get your second favorite way. So you're like, look, I can have this property, I can have this home, but it's going to cost me in debt so that he can go off and have money to go do the other thing. Or like we parcel the land up and he does half business, we do half the house, and maybe we do a little bit of debt, or maybe, we don't do any debt, but then you have to wait longer until you can have what you want. So like,
I know.
It's just a matter of like,
so when you're getting a refinance, are they looking at, they're obviously going back and looking at your taxes and everything, right?
Oh yeah,
like a normal loan and everything.
2 years tax returns. Yeah, it's okay. Refinancing and finance is the same thing. It's the same thing. In fact, yeah, I was a lender for a little while. It's not that hard. Like if you're like, hey,
you've done a lot of things.
I've done a lot of lives. Yeah, I did banking for like 6 years.
Oh my.
So with banking, it's like you say like, I don't know anything about this, like refinancing and debt restructuring and cross collateralization, all these things. And I'm like, talk to a lender, talk to some banks and find out what's options. Like you're sitting, like I would never sit there and be like making decisions on information that I don't have.
Oh no, I'm not. No, all of this is brand new. Honestly, I signed up for the talk because I just saw other people were doing it and saying you should talk to him. I didn't realize I had to come with a problem. I was just calling to talk. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to. I hope I'm not being rude. I'm just like, but I don't want to.
No, I mean, if I have a problem, I'm gonna solve it for sure. My husband and I get along great. We make a good team, a good investing team, because he's the labor and I'm the everything else. But
yeah, I'm not. I just like helping. So if I'm like, what do you got going on? I'm not like trying to. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm just not big on small talk. So I'm like, hey, we all have problems to solve. Like, how can I be useful to you? That's all.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is my most recent problem, but it's not even that much of a problem because when we get down to it, we're gonna solve it.
Yeah. Are you going to this Keystone? I have about 2 more minutes. Okay. Are you going to this Keystone thing?
No, I can't. I have work. It's tax season for us. I work for Keystone CPA for Amanda Hahn.
Shut up.
I'm the new bookkeeper.
Shut up. You work for Amanda?
Yeah, I do. Well, I have like my own business, but and now I started with them in January, and so they're trying to get their bookkeeping up. Oh,
I said happy birthday, fuckface.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I think that she's great. She's a great person. And I love learning from her. Love that she stays.
She's great. She's very cool. She's a good friend of mine.
Awesome. Yeah, I didn't guess it, but I could have figured because you said that she's Brandon Turner CPA for some of the stuff and everything. Yeah, I'm their new bookkeeper because they're trying to get bookkeeping going. And
yeah, I just did I just made a bunch of videos for them trying to recruit new bookkeepers.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to grow. I mean, well, they're growing quick, and so they're hiring a lot of people. And for my clients, they wanted me to learn tax prep because I've had a couple people ask like if I could do tax prep for them because they want like just a one and done kind of thing. And so I was like, well, let me go find somebody that'll let me come on for a season of tax prep to learn. And so I found them. I was just reaching out to everybody and they responded. But it was hard. Like I had to go through like 2 rounds of testing and the interviews and stuff. And so I'm glad that they're not easy to get into. I'm glad that they're pretty selective, but it made me feel good when I got into it. So I'm helping to build their entire bookkeeping thing. I guess the bookkeeping department is me and Cindy. She was like, this is our baby. We can do whatever we want with it. So I'm excited to get it going. Yeah.
All right. I got to split.
Okay. Bye. Nice to meet you.
You too. Hang on. Hey, I'm going to stop the thing, but don't leave just yet.
Okay.